On August 24, 2025, Megan Hutchinson spoke at Red River Unitarian Universalist Church on the topic, A Different Kind of String Theory. Welcome from Red River Unitarian Universalist. Thank you for joining us. The religion we practice in this church is centered in the here and now, rather than the hereafter. It is more of a thinking kind of religion than a believing kind. It is governed more by reason than by tradition, more concerned with the present than the past. It is concerned with getting the most out of life, with living wisely and well. A major aim for us is continually expanding our understanding of life and ourselves. This church is a community of people who share in the free and open search for a level of understanding that will enable us to be more fully and effectively alive. The church does not tell us what we must believe. It stimulates us to think. It supports us in our search. You are welcome to join us. Our centering value is love, with transformation, generosity, equity, interdependence, justice, and pluralism.
Come into this place of peace and let its silence heal your spirit. Come into this place of memory and let its history warm your soul. Come into this place of prophecy and power and let its vision change your heart. As is our custom, if you'd like to come and light a candle for a joy, a challenge, or just to bring more light into this room, please do so while we sit in stillness listening to the prelude. We will be collecting the morning offering at this time as well. The bowl awaits, or you may donate online. Please rise in body or spirit for our chalice lighting and spoken affirmation. The purpose of this community is to help its people grow. If you are who you were, and if the person next to you is who they were, if none of us has changed since the day we came in here, we have failed. The purpose of this community, of any church, temple, zendo, mosque, is to help its people grow. We do this through encounters with the unknown in ourselves, in one another, in the other, whoever that might be for us, however hard that might be, because these encounters have many gifts to offer. So may you go forth from here this morning, not who you were, but who you could be. So may we all. Join me together as we remind ourselves of the affirmation that is a cornerstone of our free faith tradition. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth and freedom, and to help one another. We light this peace candle to remind us of all the places in the world where there is no peace. Join me in the words now on the screen. Lead me from death to life, from falsehood to truth. Lead me from despair to hope, from fear to trust. Lead me from hate to love, from war to peace. Let peace fill our hearts, our world, our universe. You may be seated. Be what they do not want. Be thoughtful. Be skilled at loving. Be of good heart. Be of the world tribe. I want for us to want to patch every heart and pave every road and destroy every system that has ever left us broken. We have Song 121, We'll Build a Land.
We'll build a land where we bind up the broken. We'll build a land where the captives go free, where the oil of gladness dissolves all mourning. Oh, we'll build a promised land that can be. Come build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll build a land where we bring the good tidings to all the afflicted and all those who mourn.
When day comes, we ask ourselves, where can we find light in this never-ending shade? The loss we carry, a sea we must wade. We've braved the belly of the beast. We've learned that quiet isn't always peace, and the norms and notions of what just isn't always justice. And yet the dawn is ours before we knew it. Somehow we do it. Somehow we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished. Join now for our time of practices with words, stillness, and music. Our words are from Sonia Sanchez and her poem for July 4th, 1994. As we walk towards abundance, we will never forget the earth, the sea, the children, the people. For we, the people, will always be arriving. A ceremony of thunder, waking up the earth, opening our eyes to human monuments. And it'll get better. It'll get better. If we, the people, work, organize, resist, come together for peace, racial, social, and sexual justice, it'll get better. It'll get better.
Good morning, y'all. I'm here to talk about a different kind of string theory. Imagine a 1,000-pound ball hanging from 200 thin strings. Each string can only hold 5 to 10 pounds without breaking. But with all 200 strings attached, the ball, this planet of 8 million people, is held up. Now imagine each of those strings is an important aspect of the world around us that supports our survival. One string for our rivers, lakes, and streams that provide access to the water we rely on for safe drinking, irrigation, and recreation. Another string is our forests. Forests that provide clean air to breathe and nurture entire ecosystems vital to the health of our planet. Yet another string is for the fields and grasslands that feed our crops and our herds. And let's not forget the strings of our beloved institutions, not the least of which are those of law, justice, and democracy. But most important are the strings that come from every relationship and connection we have with each other and the communities that we create. Communities just like this church. Now imagine, one by one, the strings are cut. The entire world's water system is contaminated with lethal levels of PFAS, aka forever chemicals, that DuPont and 3M made trillions of dollars on, all while knowing that it was incredibly toxic. Residents of Flint, Michigan still don't have clean drinking water, and 3 generations of their citizens have lead poisoning. But even with all that, even after the first cut, nothing happens. The ball is still supported by the other 199 strings sharing the load. Even after the second, the third, the 10th cut, there are still enough strings to share the load and support the ball. Granted, the weather keeps getting weirder, the ice caps in the glaciers are melting, all those fields are now owned by mega corporations that are only interested in growing monocrop cash crops. Not to mention the entire monopoly on the meat industry. Our food supply is constantly at risk, and what we do get is so processed it's practically poison. But the world hasn't collapsed. More strings are cut as we fall into the dopamine trap that is social media and lose the relationships and connections we had with our family, friends, and communities at large. Instead of going out and doing good deeds or holding neighborhood block parties, we sit at home and we stare at our feeds and our FYP pages while we watch someone else's filtered and curated life pass before our glazed over eyes and wonder why we feel so lonely. And then we watch as our own government cuts strings by the batch. Healthcare, snip. Food, snip. The Clean Water and Clean Air Acts, snip. Open drilling in parklands. Personal rights and autonomy demolished. The death of our most important government institutions. Our legal system has been neutralized. There is no justice, nor is there peace. And our democracy is at death's door. Snip, snip, snip. The likelihood that the next cut will cause everything to fail increases. Eventually, if no more strings are added, one string will be the final string when the weight is no longer bearable. All the other strings will snap, collapsing the whole system. For many of us, this is what today's world can often feel like. Humanity and the systems around us constantly and fervently cutting and adding more strings to hold up a very heavy world. Each of us watching and fretting and hoping that everything will sustain, praying that no one will cut the last string. Throughout all of human history, people have worried about the state of things, fearing and predicting the end of everything, at least on some level. Pantheons of gods, rituals, traditions, all manner of cosmic contemplation have occupied millennia of human existence to explain how and why the world works the way it does. Volcanoes erupt and earthquakes rattle because the gods are angered. Myths and legends are built on tales that focus on the extreme events in history. But things feel different now. The world feels weirder. Probably because things are weird and different now. Of course, change is the only constant in history. But the rate and weirdness of that change are not. Current humans are experiencing a degree of change in their individual lifetimes that would have taken generations to come to fruition in centuries past. No, it's not your imagination. Time really is moving faster today than at any other period in human history. A combination of factors are at work, not only to rob you of your time, but your entire sense of being. It's only getting weirder. The inversion of stability dynamics, noted by Brian Glass, has led to a complete shift in the human dynamic. Once upon a time, our life was a daily struggle. Our focus was on the next hunt, the next meal, finding shelter, and staying alive. Basically, our life was spent desperately trying to fulfill Maslow's hierarchy of basic needs. Because our focus was so extremely local, there wasn't time, energy, or the desire for more regional and global conflict. Our ancestors lived in a time of local uncertainty and global calm. Human development occurred at a snail's pace over tens of thousands of generations this way. But today, instead of fighting for our basic needs, we live in a time of local certainty and global chaos, wrought with rapid change and technological advancements beyond the scope of many people's imaginations. In some ways, the world seems to be burning around us, burning each string left holding up humanity. We now live in a world coordinated by algorithms instead of human intention, where fake things seem real and real things seem fake. We've gone from not knowing where our next meal is coming from to having too many choices on DoorDash. Instead of worrying about the millions of ways you could be killed by predators, like bears, we're now choosing the bear. A minor wound or infirmity is no longer a death sentence thanks to modern hygiene and medicine, but, and this is a big but, global conditions, politics, economics, environmental and technological conditions are highly volatile and unpredictable. We no longer have the safety and security of all 200 strings, holding up our society and the planet's burdens at large. Instead of searching for caves to shelter in, we search for anything remotely affordable so we don't end up criminalized for living on the street. Instead of searching for firewood and food, we're trying to pay the power bill and buy more than just ramen for groceries. While we have world-class health care and we can treat and cure most anything, we have the least access to it in the developed world, and poverty dictates who sees a doctor and who just gets sicker. In the 1950s, a family could very legitimately buy a home, a car, the white picket fence, all the things, on a single income. Their kids had access to an education system built to encourage STEM fields, and they had more upward mobility than at any time other than colonialism. Well, at least certain kind of families. 75 years later, well, things sure ain't like they used to be. Think back to when you were younger and you had just started to properly comprehend the phenomenon of the future. Like most kids, you likely began to imagine and predict things the future might hold. Who you would be, what you would do, what the world would be like. I know I did. I was going to take the interior design world by storm, own an international design house, and get around in my flying car while a robot cleaned my house. Yeah. If we squinted hard enough back then, we could almost see 5, 10, 20 years or more out into the future. But now, no matter how hard we seem to squint, all we see is a blurry image. There's too much instability and uncertainty to see anything other than instability and uncertainty. But in all honesty, how accurate were we back then? I know I sure wasn't. The future has always been unknowable and unpredictable. The world has always been chaotic and gruesome. As kids dreaming of our futures, we had no idea what the world really looked like. Even as we became adults, we could still envision some kind of future. But now we know and feel just how unpredictable and chaotic the world is, because it's in the palm of our hands and flashes across our retinas 24/7. Now we know and feel just how much work there is left to be done. The irony is, during a time when conditions of the world and future are most unclear, when change is most rapid and hard to predict, so many of us are so sure of our pessimism and cynicism. It's hard not to be with the threat of nuclear war, climate change, the massive chasm of inequality, attacks on bodily autonomy, and the increasing attempts to use technology to breach our right to privacy at all costs. We are, as a species, teenagers at best. Destructive, ignorant, weird, and self-aggrandizing. But as teenagers, if we survive our recklessness and make the right decisions, we're on course for adulthood, for wisdom and maturity, if we make the right decisions. The future isn't some abstract sci-fi concept. Despite how dystopian it may feel right now, it is a real place, but it isn't a defined place. We form and preserve it in every moment with our decisions and habits, both individually and collectively. In the words of American anthropologist David Graeber, the ultimate hidden truth of the world is that it is something we make, and we could easily make it differently. As individuals and as a species, we are always forming new habits and ceasing old ones. Despite increasing global literacy from just 12 to 90% of the global population, over 75% of the adult American population can't read above a 6th grade level. In a country that at one point had the best education system in the world. Our global population increased 800% in the last 2 centuries, but now 60% of countries are below the replacement rate as conditions make it harder to have a family. Global life expectancy doubled over the same time frame, but that number is dropping fast as war and starvation, along with those lower birth rates, remove millions of people from the population. The problem with all of this, returning to that weighted ball of earth suspended by thin cotton strings, is that being cut faster and faster is that no matter what happens in the long run or how good things are, we don't live in the long run. We live in the past. We don't live in the data and lines of graphs and charts. We live in the here and now, in our heads, a strange place in a strange place. We are each personally faced with the task of understanding, managing, and mitigating our own expectations, our perceptions, hopes, and values. We cannot control the world or predict the future, but we can perhaps, on some level, control how much we try to. For each of us, there are thin cotton strings that hold us up. And with each personal choice and habit, we contribute to the cutting or adding of those strings. Every time we choose to put down the remote, to engage more with our partners, families, and communities, every time we create art and exercise our body, every time we choose a form of hope and openness over certain forms of cynicism and clinging to control, every time we choose compassion over bitterness, every time we are together in the spirit of this church, we retain and add more strings. This is not to say that concerning ourselves with our future or that striving to control and improve areas of life and society wherever we can, or that being realistic and sometimes cynical are bad, but rather concerning ourselves too much with these things often is. Yes, we have work to do on a societal and global level. Work we are continually trying to do with our outreach. Work to ensure that things get better and more stable for everyone around. But we also have work to do on an individual level to ensure that we stay stable and around. Because without each and every one of us, there is no one left to do the hard work of putting our society, our country, and our world back to rights. The author Albert Camus once wrote, "Real generosity towards the future lies in giving all to the present." And now, especially right now, we need to be as generous to the future as we can. Optimism and hope are not universal philosophies. They are weapons and tools that we can sharpen and use when appropriate and needed. We are always on the brink, one person and one choice away from that final string being cut. Snip. But it hasn't been cut yet, and we are constantly hanging more. Things are precarious. Governments around the world are on the precipice of a dangerous path. The climate is collapsing. The very definition of humanity is being threatened, and we feel powerless to stop it. But this is when we must sharpen those tools, and instead of turning inward, turn them outward at the forces threatening those last few remaining strings and protect them while we do the work of adding more by rebuilding community and societal bonds that have shattered under the weight of modern life. We will still post on social media, especially our RUU events and our services. Please keep posting. We will spend too much time zoned out on our feeds or stress eating from the latest news blast. But we absolutely must rededicate ourselves to the vital work of respinning and reattaching those strings to the 1,000-pound ball that is our world. It will not be enough to simply warn others about the impending doom, like we did last year, or try to gain support for our democratic ideals in the face of nationalism. We will need to weaponize our compassion in the face of fascism and destruction by supporting those in need. We need to enshrine our optimism like a beacon to attract the willing into action groups that will give others a reason to keep hoping. The 1,000-pound, and we will keep adding more strings to the 1,000-pound ball on a national and global scale. Don't forget to make connections and form relationships that will add strings to yourself as well. Because when the least of us is held up, we are held up. The best reason to learn history is not to predict the future, but to free yourself from the past and imagine alternative destinies. We know the story playing out on the global stage all too well right now. It is up to each of us to create communities that work toward those alternative destinies that await us.
There's another song, number 1014, Answering the Call of Love.
1, 2, 3, 4. The promise of a spirit, faith, hope, and love above. So every soul is blessed and made whole. The truth in our hearts is our God.
Our closing thought today is from an interview with our own Texas Congressman Jasmine Crockett. Do not feel powerless in this moment, because that's exactly what they want you to do. And if you ultimately feel that way, they will win. There are more of us. It is time for us to decide that we are going to rise up. I invite you to rise in body or spirit for extinguishing the chalice. Please join me in saying the words to extinguish our chalice. We extinguish these flames, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Go in peace, return in love. Go upstairs, let's eat. Yeah.